But that's what Satan does to you. That's what Satan puts before you, because guess what? Satan wants us to fail. He doesn't want us to achieve what God has wanted, what has called us for in our lives. He doesn't. But you know what? The voices that you hear in your head, it's not just something that slows you down. Okay? It's not just something that's just there to slow you down. You know, it's also self-doubt and fear is what causes us to listen to those voices. It's not just having the voices in your head. You can have voices in your head and not do what the voices are telling you to do. But self-doubt and fear not only causes the voices, it also causes you to listen to those voices. You see, the duo of self-doubt and fear that we all face seems to stop us before we even have an opportunity to begin. The moment God calls you to something, you think, I'm going to start it, I'm going to do this, bam, something happens. I'm supposed to be talking to church today, bam, you get into a car wreck on your way there. Man, I'm supposed to stop drinking soda, bam, I'm going to the Coke Zero 400 and offer free sodas the whole way. See, that's what the obstacles are that we face each and every day. But you know what? God didn't call us to fear. God didn't call us to doubt. That's not what we were called to do. No, if you read 2 Timothy 1:7, it says that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. See, God has called us to overcome all these fears, all these doubts. Because we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to doubt. We're supposed to trust God. We're supposed to put our lives in Him and His Word. And trust that His Word is going to get us through anything that is slowing us down. I read a quote the other day, and I absolutely loved it. It's by a man named Andre Guy, and here's what the quote said. It said, man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. Think about that for a minute. Man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. Love that. So we can't proceed with God's calling on our lives unless we have the courage to overcome these addictions. Unless we have the courage to look Satan straight into his two eyes and say, be gone. Leave me alone. Stop throwing this at me. Stop doing this. God's calling me this way. Stop pulling me this way. God wants us to explore all the new oceans that we can imagine. But how many of us are stuck on the shore? How many of us are needing that crutch? Man, I want to do this, but I really need that drink. That's what gets me going. Man, I would love to go to work today, but I need caffeine. I can't do it. No, those are crutches. We got to lose sight of that shore and go straight towards what God is calling us to. You know what? You might say, yeah, I would love to. But you know what? I'm too weak. I can't do that. Yeah, God's calling me to explore new oceans, but I don't have the ability to do that. I'm too scared. I have too much fear. But you know what? We all have a stronghold. And I'll tell you right now, as you all sit here today, you all have a strength that is supporting you, that is backing you on this journey. And that strength is named Jesus Christ. If you have Christ on your side, it doesn't matter what obstacles come before you, you will persevere. You will overcome. Because wherever you go, Christ is going to be there with you. How many of you ever read the poem Footprints? A good deal of you. Love that poem. Here's what that poem says. I'm not going to quote it word for word because I haven't memorized. I'm not that good, okay? But the storyline goes something like this. There's a man and he's walking along the beach. And you know, he's overcoming all the same type of things that we're doing. He has so many things on his shoulders. And he's crying out to God, God, I need you. I have all these things going on. My job is wanting to fire me. I don't have the finances to pay for my school and my home. My car is junk. It doesn't want to move. God, I thought you said that you were going to be here. You said that you were going to be alongside of me, walking with me. Where are you? And God looks at this man and he says, I've been with you the whole time. So the man turns around and he's like, no, you haven't. I only see one set of footprints. And I'm the only one on the beach. Those are my footprints. And God says, no, they're not. I was carrying you. He's with us everywhere we go. Deuteronomy 31:6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or tremble. For the Lord your God is the one who goes with you. He will not fail, won't forsake you. So if you remember that, if you keep in mind that where I go, Christ goes, well, how can one respond to God's calling in fear and expect to be able to stand the obstacles that Satan's going to throw before you? If you have fear, how can you expect to overcome these things? if you have doubts, you need to face those fears and doubts right now. You need not keep putting them aside. Yeah, I know I have this addiction, but I'll get over it in the future. I'll get over it soon. Yeah, I know finances are an issue, but yeah, I gotta put that aside. But if you try covering up your fears and your doubts and your obstacles, those fears and doubts and obstacles are only going to grow larger. They're only going to get bigger. There's a story of a farmer that I want to share with you all quickly, okay? There was this old farmer, and he plowed along this large rock, or around a large rock on this field for many, many years. So I'm thinking maybe 10, 15 years. Here he is plowing his fields, and there's this rock in the center of the field, and he kept plowing it. Okay? Now this rock has caused him to break several plowshares, as well as a cultivator. Okay? So this guy is growing rather morbid about this rock. He can't stand it. Well, finally one day he goes to the fields and he's plowing them again, and bam, another plowshare breaks. So now he's just happy. So remembering all the trouble that this rock has caused him in the past, he finally thinks, this is it. I'm tired of this thing. I'm going to do something about this right now. So he goes back home to his little farm and pulls out in his farm a little crowbar to go and plop this rock up. So he goes up there and he's like, all right, fine, I had enough to do and I'm going to do something about it. Puts the crowbar under the rock. The moment he pushes it down, he realizes that this rock was only about 6 inches thick. And that if he would have done something about it sooner, it would have saved him all the trouble, the time, the money, the frustrations. But did he want to do something about it sooner? No. He said, you know what, I'm just going to work my way around it. Look at how much it cost him. If only he would have done something about it sooner. You see, you need to address the problem up front. You can't just sit there and just let it stand. It's going to start growing dusty. It's going to start being a problem. It's going to start being a sore. Okay? You see, the best way around a problem is through it. You want to get around a problem, you need to go through that problem. Because if you don't face the problem, how do you expect to be able to persevere? How do you expect to be able to stand up on top of that mountain and say, I conquered it, if all you did was go around it? You didn't conquer it. It's still there. You have to go through the problem. If fear is what's lying before you, look to the Word and say, you know what? With God on my side, with the Word in my hand, I'm going to go through this problem. And God's going to start throwing verses out at you that's going to help you overcome. Verses like Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. So if you get anything out of tonight, I think what I want you to get is this. Don't keep putting off your obstacles. Don't keep pushing them aside. Face them now. Face them now. The best way around the problem is through. So other obstacles that we face, temptations, lust, financial burdens. We have a lot of obstacles, especially as young adults. We have what I think are a lot more obstacles than most. We have school issues. We got housing issues. We got relationship issues. You know those can be a burden. Not you, because our relationship's great. Let me go and clear myself right now of that. Okay? We have so many different obstacles to overcome. And the way we overcome them is by faith in the Lord and in His Word. Psalm 27:1 says, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? So then what does the Lord expect of us when we come to the points where we are facing our giants? What does God expect from us? He expects us to overcome and persevere. He doesn't expect it to be easy. But He does expect us to overcome and persevere. How many of you, by show of hands, have seen the movie Facing the Giants? 3, 4, 5, 6 of you. Well, in the movie Facing the Giants, the turning point of the movie happens when the coach of this football team asks their star player, his name is Brock, to do what is called the death crawl. Now, the reason why he asks his star player to do the death crawl is because they have this game that's coming up at the end of the week, and it's supposed to be against the best team that's in the area, ironically called the Giants. And the star player, the leader of the team, stands before the team and says, we can't beat them. Seriously? So Brock already resigned himself to losing that next football match. So now Coach wants to show Brock a little something that hopefully helps him realize that he can overcome the Giants. It's all a matter of what's in here. And I want you to take a few moments and